Hi everyone, my name is Sonali and I'm the Vice President of Talent and the Head of HR for Bain in India. I've been working in the HR space since 2000, so although I'm dating myself in terms of sharing this, I think it's important to kind of bring to bear that the years of experience have kind of really given me good insight into how the talent landscape has changed over the last 2 decades. I have learned in terms of to spend the next 15 minutes talking about how I think of retention and similar strategies in the HR space. I'm going to talk about not only what I've seen at Bain, but bring to bear some of the experiences prior to Bain, which were with GE, Magnum Technology Solutions, Make My Trip, and then at Bain. And I think I really don't look at retention strategies per se. I feel like anything to do with retaining an employee in an organization is a more holistic consideration, and it is really about the talent value proposition that an organization brings to its employees. So I think that's more about the entire experience of the employee when they work in the organization, right from when they are looking at joining through campus or laterally, how they grow and develop, and then even towards exit and how they participate as alumni in the future of the organization. And I think in terms of the talent value proposition, there are a number of things to consider. One, of course, is competitive compensation, but there are a number of studies that are done and also a lot of experience that we've had in Bain to say that compensation is not the only thing that an employee stays for. It is the experience made of learning, of growth, of support in life's moments of truth, because even the best employees don't have a linear journey. It's always peaks and troughs, both personally and professionally. And I think the biggest retention strategy you can have is to be there to support in both these moments of highs and lows. So I think if you look at consulting as a profession, specifically strategy consulting and being a part of an MBB firm, the growth path for anyone who comes into consulting is very, very rapid. It's much more rapid than a lot of other organizations that people work in. You're supposed to move to the next level of progression every 6 months. So it's super fast. And I think the way we measure our success is to see how many people convert from one level to another and are able to successfully sustain their productivity, as well as are able to feel fulfilled and self-actualized by the job. Traditionally try to bring in people from the junior most level, which is an associate consultant, and work with them through their journey to becoming a partner. That's the ideal scenario and frankly an ideal measure of how many of your strongest people are able to transition that journey. But given that's a longer journey, I think the shorter term measure is how many are able to actually move to the immediate next levels. We also look at this not only in terms of numbers, but also in terms of diversity. Consulting being tough career, are we able to put in the right measures which will enable other sections of our workforce succeed, whether it is more women in consulting, whether it is more representation of minorities, whether it is more representation of the LGBTQ plus population. So all of that is also an important measure of how effective our retention strategies are. I would also want to add that it's not only how you progress, but also how happy you are, which I referenced in the previous question. So we do survey every year. It's a global survey which is filled in by every country's workforce as well. and that gives us a net promoter score for the organization and also gives us a lot of clarity in terms of what our workforce wants us as HR professionals, or also in terms of as leadership of the firm to solve for in the next year to enhance the experience and the value proposition. What I mentioned right now, I'm just going to do a double click on that. So we have a culture, and I think Bain has won so many recognitions in terms of, best place to work, etc., where we want to kind of create very continuous feedback. We have a number of institutionalized processes that we follow, but in addition to that, we also have fairly open door, non-hierarchical kind of setup where you can come up to any member of the leadership, any member of the HR team, anyone frankly that you are comfortable with, and share what you would like to see differently, or if there's something that you have experienced personally which is suboptimal and you would want to see happen differently. Something we really rely heavily on to be like the voice of our internal customer, which is our employee. But then coming back to the institutionalized thirds, we have pulse checks, which are really short burst surveys on very focused kind of questions that we do once every quarter to be able to understand what are the things that are working well, what things could get better, and then what are some things which are completely broken and to be fixed. And this is again something which needs to be continuous because we are all evolving, the organization is evolving, we have a multi-generational workforce. What works for a set number of people may not work for another set of people. When we say broken, it doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It is that it has worked in the past but has probably outlived its utility in the present. So we need to think about how to do it better or differently in the future. So apart from these pulse checks, these informal conversations that I referenced, I think the biggest source of feedback and also our North Star on how we are doing in terms of an organization that people would want to work with, want to grow with, is our worldwide employee survey. And for each HR leader as well as the rest of the leadership of the firm, it is matter of deep significance, right, to have a high NPS, to be amongst the top offices in the Bain system or in APAC also, to be able to feel that the efforts that we put in and weight that we put behind the employee experience actually is translating into strong number of promoters in the system. And then if there are people who feel that they are in a position of detraction right now, what will it take in terms of tangible actions and outcomes to move them along to being promoters through this journey? So I think those are loops, feedback loops, if I may, that actually keep us very closely focused on what we need to do to make sure that the ecosystem and the value proposition is evolving to be best in class. The dynamics are different in different organizations. In consulting, especially again in strategy consulting and in an MBB firm, you hire the top 10% of the talent in the country, right? You are hiring from the best business schools, the best undergrad schools. So it's the sharpest set of talent that you have that comes and works for a firm like this. There are huge positives to that, which is that you are able to deliver the best results for your clients because you have such strong intellectual capability. But the flip side of it is these very smart people also want to do different things, right? They want to be startup founders. They want to go to an investment bank. They want to work in a not-for-profit. There are so many things they want to do because literally, the world is their oyster. They are so sharp that there's nothing off limits for them. So I think the biggest challenge for us is to make sure that consulting continues to give them the intellectual stimulation and thrill, and also a sense of self-actualization that they would want to seek outside. So that's what also keeps our jobs very interesting, because you have to solve a lot of different things for different people. And I think one of the ways tried to do that is, one, provide exposure through the work we do for people to experience what it would be like working, with a startup. So we work with a lot of early stage organizations. Our teams get a flavor of what it is like to work there directly. We have externship programs where we enable people to go and work with an organization of their choice. And there are varied choices. People have gone to not-for-profits, healthcare and pharma companies, NGOs, sustainability focused firms, wherever their passion lies. And they can go and work with them for 6 months and then come back to us. And we believe that actually enhances their ability to do the core consulting job well. So it's something we structure, we help them identify, we work with the external organization to put into place. So it's a very safe way of going and seeing, what it is like on the ground to work in a place that I've always been curious of, but still be able to come back and see if I, enjoy consulting. And I think the third one is a little bit of a mindset shift, and I referenced this earlier. Traditionally, the model for consulting is that your best people will join you as associate consultants and then grow to partnership. I think somewhere we have also kind of come to accept that a lot of our best talent will go out and do something very powerful in the larger ecosystem. As a firm where we want to have lifelong relationships with our employees even after they leave as alumni members, we want to put the weight of our support behind them to help them kind of set up in the next leg of their adventure. We've had a lot of startups come out of Bain. Some of them are very well known, like Zomato and Delivery, etc. So I think that mindset shift is also something which just helps us kind of work around the model that when you work with the smartest talent in the country, you will have those challenges, and we want to kind of blend those into our value proposition and make sure we are supportive of our people, whether they stay at Bain or outside. I can share experience. I don't think I want to give advice, because like I said, this is my experience, better understanding of the situations of where they work. But my experience is what I started with, right? If you focus on a retention strategy, you're essentially being tactical in how you're thinking about it, because you're thinking about how do I make an employee stay. Whereas if you shift your focus to why should an employee stay in the organization and what does the organization provide for the employee in terms of, the entire value proposition that somebody looks at when they join a firm, coupled with being supportive and understanding that no employee has a linear journey and that need to be there for them through the peaks and troughs. I think retention strategy will very naturally evolve through this. So if the only learning I have through my experience is to kind of move our thinking from the tactic, I need 100 people to stay and not leave the firm, to what do I do as the organization or as a HR leader to make sure that these 100 people feel fulfilled and feel supported and want to stay. So I would rather look at focusing at the pull from the organization versus the creating a push for them to look outside. Thank you for the opportunity. It's been super interesting to have the chat.